koutou katoa, no mai hara mai ki UFC on Sky Kuravinda Hunia Tōku Ingoa. UFC 298 in Anaheim, California goes down this weekend and features a host of Anzac fighters, including current featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski and former middleweight champion Robert Whittaker, and of course heavyweight Justin Tuffer, who we had on last week. Joining me now, though, from Anaheim, California, is Alexander the Great. Kia ora and welcome back to the show.
Kia ora. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Look, exciting times, and I feel like it usually is when it's a Volkanovski fight week, but talk to us about this camp and perhaps how it's been a bit different from camps gone by.
Well, not much has been too different, to be honest. Everything's just going along as normal. Like, you know what I mean? Just training hard, as I always do, preparing how I should be, always preparing, as we say, for the worst, you know what I mean? So I'm going to always make sure I'm ready for the best version of Ilya possible. So just in case that man does turn up, you know what I mean? I'm going to be ready for it. So no surprises come fight time. So everything's going really well.
Yeah, and he has been waiting for his opportunity for a little while now. Of course, you dipped out of the featherweight division for a little while there and took on Makhachev in the lightweight division. Talk to us about Ilia Topuria and perhaps what he brings as opposed to any other fighters you've faced before.
Just a real boxing-heavy type style. He's going to be the most obvious one, I think. I think obviously height as well is something that I'm not used to having. Someone obviously is going to be reasonably same height as me. I think he's going to be, stocky, strong in that as well. But, obviously for Chad Mendes. So there's going to be a bit of a similarity to Chad Mendes. Just probably more of a boxing sort of style that would be different.
Is it kind of similar to the Holloway prep?
Kind of similar to the Holloway prep. No, not really. So obviously Max Holloway does, he's more of a volume fighter. He does things a lot different. Obviously, he likes his boxing, but a much different approach in his boxing style. Volume fighter. He's happy to fire out of position, where everything Ilya throws is in position and just power. So he wants to make sure everything he throws has something behind it.
I feel like you're a master of getting in on the inside. And, you've fought taller opponents before, but how much of that kind of work do you do, that getting in and getting out movement that you're so, that we're so used to seeing?
Oh, well, obviously we need to be a bit careful with Ilya. As I was just saying, very powerful puncher. So he's going to be ready for the big counters and things like that. So he likes being on the inside as well. So, I've got to be careful. Obviously, I like to be there at the same time. So I'm going to obviously do my thing, but I got to give him that respect and and not give him what I believe is his only chance of winning is catching me, and you got to take that away from him. So I'm not just going to sit in the pocket and fight this guy. He's going to have to deal with my leg kicks, my movement, all that type of stuff, all the stuff that's even helped me throughout. Because I'm very, as I say, I'm very well rounded. I can fight at range. I can fight very long. I can fight in the pocket. I can do it all. So that's one good thing, and that's what really does separate me from the rest.
Absolutely does. You do have quite the extensive resume. Volk, look, I haven't caught up with you since your battle against Makhachev. I just wanted to know how you found that fight and perhaps what you took away from that result.
Obviously it didn't go the way we wanted. What more can I say other than, it's, try to take on a challenge. But, one thing I did take away from it is, what I've always believed, you know what I mean? I've always believed preparation is everything. And, and it does make that big of a difference. And I felt that in there. And obviously you've seen the result.
Yeah, absolutely. Does it add anything to your your toolbox, though? I know that sometimes, of course, you want the win. And, of course, Champ has been on, the radar for you for a while now to have that. To have those simultaneous titles. But what did you take away from that puts into your box to make you stronger?
Not much was really in that, you know what I mean? I didn't let my hands go. I just couldn't pull the trigger, and so there's not too much I can take away from that other than motivation for the next one. You know what I mean? Just be like, all right, like. I was a little stay disciplined. I've always been disciplined. I just wasn't before that fight, and that just reassured me that, hey, you know what I mean? Like, let's not be that guy ever again. You know what I mean? So, I've always been for the last 13 years, a very disciplined, committed guy, and I just wasn't for a couple of months, and look what happened. So that was a good kick up the ass for myself, excuse using that word, and that definitely, made me remember, what got me here and why I should definitely, moving forward, do what's been working for so long.
So more the wisdom of it all.
Yes, I think so, definitely.
When you think about this matchup, how much of it is, I mean, of course you are fighting to keep your title at featherweight, but how much of this is a statement for you to show that you are still, the toughest guy in the division?
Oh, well, that's it. I mean, like, because of the last one, people quickly forget. It's and that's just I guess the beauty of this sport as well. It's why even though they do quickly forget. Now, obviously, it can get annoying. At the same time, it keeps it exciting. So now all the hype around this fight, you know what I mean? If I was to not have that loss and I'm coming off that dominant victory over maybe this fight isn't the fight that it is right now. Like, the hype around it, he probably just looks like just another guy that I'm just going to walk through, no one cares. But now, because of what happened, the hype's there, he's playing the part, it's probably gave him more confidence, and now he's talking even more, and it's just building up this fight beautifully. So he's playing the part, he's doing his thing, he's playing the heel, which is always good, especially for me in my position. I don't like being the heel, I just like going out there and doing my thing, and I don't need to do nothing but teach this bloke a lesson. He wants to talk, I'm happy to, silence him.
I love that. I love that about you. I love it when that fire is in the belly, Volk. It's always good to see. Look, another thing that I wanted to talk to you about was that ad that you made for I think it was for Sportsbet. Hilarious. The best content that I have seen in a very long time. But it did bring up a point of people saying, criticizing you and age and retaining the title because of it. How did you feel making that ad, and was that kind of a statement that you wanted to, to put out there as well?
Oh, yeah, like, it's just because everyone's obviously using it. You're hearing people say it. And, yeah, it's adding to it. There's a narrative there. So I'm like, I'll run with the narrative. Like, I obviously don't believe it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel great. But, you know what I mean? But I'm happy to have fun with it. And, like, it's not going to get in my head if people really do believe that. So let's have fun with it. You know what I mean? And it was a hit. Everyone absolutely loved it. And obviously been a massive talking point through the week. So everyone really enjoyed it, and so did I.
Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about at home, Volkanovski was in an ad that criticised his age, and he played right into it, and it was a great comedic piece of content, and I highly recommend you go and watch it if you can find it on social media. But Volk, another thing, you're there with Justin Tuffer's on this card, Robert Whittaker's on this card. It's always great to see our Anzacs out there in abundance.
Oh yeah, always. So it seems to be a bit of a trend now. Every time there's I'm fighting or Aussie fighting, they usually try and get a few Aussies on the card, which is good. It just shows you how big our market is as well. They know that, let's get the guys, because if there's a couple Aussies on the card, they know everyone's going to be watching, or Aussies or Anzacs, or New Zealand. They know that the Anzacs are going to be watching. They know that Australia and New Zealand are going to go there, buy the pay-per-view and support their guys. So it's always awesome to see.
Also, in other camps, we've seen you bring in specific fighters to help you tackle specific, styles of your opponents. Was there anyone you brought in for this fight that helped you, to prepare for Tapuria's style?
Yeah, we bring in quite a few guys. So I'm lucky enough to have good training partners all year round. I even had who ended up being a great part of camp was Kaisib Murdoch. So he's a fellow New Zealander. Mm-hmm. So he's a great little fighter. Obviously short as well, like Ilya, and tough, good boxing, good wrestling, and he was great. He was a great asset to the camp. But then you obviously got like some bigger guys like Jack Della, John Vake, Kieran Joblin. A couple of the bigger guys, and then the list goes on. I had Brad Riddell here. There was plenty of guys helping us out, which was incredible.
Yeah, nice one. Look, Volk, what does the rest of the week look like for you?
Plenty of these interviews, chatting to everyone, telling everyone how pumped up I am and can't wait to go out there and put on a show for you all. So there'll be plenty of that. I'm about to cook the guys some steaks. So like I'm going to cook a barbecue. I can't eat it, but I'm going to cook everyone a feed. So there'll be a bit of that, bit of drinking water, all the same stuff. Obviously, I'm a bit of a veteran, or I'm definitely experienced to championship fights and what it's all about. So just the normal fight week sort of stuff. So water loading, interviews, all that type of stuff. Fight week shenanigans.
Well, quite the veteran in cooking as well, and then you chuck some discipline on top. Good on you. Happy teammates.
That's it. Exactly.
Look, well, thank you so much for your time. All the very best for the weekend, and as always, we'll be watching and supporting you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate the support. Make sure you tune in. I'm going to teach this guy a lesson.
Do you look at this fight as any different than any of your others, or is it just, hey, I can go in there, I win, and I continue my momentum?
I just prepare myself like in every fight. I prepare myself for a difficult fight. I'm ready and prepared to be victorious on February 17th. So I don't see any difference, to be honest. It's like a normal opponent I got on my way.
Obviously, you consider yourself to be the better fighter than Alex, but in what area do you think you will show how much better you are than him?
Everywhere. I'm better than him everywhere.
Do you think, maybe outside of yourself, he's the greatest featherweight of all time? Obviously, there's Jose Aldo, there's Max Holloway.
Oh, yeah, he's going to stay in the featherweight book for a while. That's for sure. He will be remembered as one of the greatest in the featherweight division. He was a great champion, yeah.
He's obviously heard some of the things you've been saying, and he saw your Instagram bio, and he wants you to go and personally change it should you lose this Saturday. Do you think he's taking your words a little bit too seriously? Do you think he's using them to motivate himself? What do you make of his reaction to what you're saying?
To be honest, what I do in my Instagram bio, that's my thing. I don't know why he's looking to my Instagram, to be honest. I never saw his Instagram. Never. If I saw something about him, it was because the people around me send me, not because I go to his Instagram and I want him to change something personally and this and that.
How do you see this fight playing out on Saturday? How do you win the fight?
I see myself knock him out in the first round.
Yeah. If you win this fight, I think you'd be the 11th male to win a UFC title with an undefeated record, which is obviously a huge accomplishment. When you think about, being undefeated and getting here, is that something you put a lot of pressure on yourself? And I guess what would it mean for you to join that group of very small people who have been undefeated UFC champions?
Not at all, to be honest. I don't care about that. I just accept everything that comes to my way. That's it. If I had to be undefeated to this long, I'm grateful about that fact. If not, I'm never going to lose the trust in myself.
How much do you think your life is going to change if you win this? People are talking a lot about how popular you are in Spain and these places in Europe.
To be honest, I don't care about that kind of things. I just want to be happy, which I am. I'm already very happy with my life, with everything I got. So any result gonna change my life. I'm a happy man, and I will keep as a happy man after this Saturday night too.
UFC 298's co-main event features former middleweight champion Robert Whittaker, who will be facing Paul Acosta, and Robert joins us now. Kia ora, Rob. Welcome to UFC on Sky.
Thank you very much for having me.
Look, just off camera, you let us know that Bubba has arrived, so congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you very much. The tribe gets bigger.
Absolutely. Look, and I also mentioned, it's a little bit of added motivation, but at the same time, do you feel a little homesick?
Oh, definitely. I feel very homesick. It's one of those things that you never quite get used to, and having more kids only makes it harder.
Yeah, I'm sure at least you have so much more to fight for now, and it'll make the trip home even more sweeter. So congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Look, let's get into it. Fight prep. How have you been going in this, build up to Paul Acosta?
I feel stronger than ever. Obviously wasn't very happy with the way the last fight went and a couple of things. So we jumped straight back on the horse. We got straight back in the gym. And honestly, since that last fight, I've just been preparing and grinding and just getting ready for anyone, anywhere, anytime. And this fight was thrown at me, and I've jumped at the bit.
Yeah, nice one. And of course, fans are, can't wait to see you back in action again. But let's talk about that fight a little bit. What do you think it was that night? Was it just a bad night in the office?
Sometimes that's all it is. I guess that's what's so disappointing about it. It's one of those things where I just didn't show up. Winning, losing, that's, that is what it is. But what upsets me is not performing. And, I didn't put my best foot forward, and I know that. So I've done everything since that night to make sure it never happens again.
I don't want to keep putting the accelerator on this issue, but seeing Dricus du Plessis win that title over Sean Strickland, what were your thoughts on that?
Good on him. It was a very winnable fight for him, I think, stylistically. And yeah, he showed his hunger, he showed his doggedness, and good on him.
Well, at least when you run this one back, and if he's still got the title, it's winnable too.
Definitely. I think I do believe 9 times out of 10 I beat him.
Look, a lot of fans are doubting Paulo Costa even showing up to this fight. I just wanted to ask you, has there been a sighting? Have you seen Paulo Costa in Anaheim, California?
I have. We were doing some UFC stuff today at the hotel, and yeah, we saw each other. And
what was that like to see him?
It's always weird. It's always there's a lot of tension in the air.
What do you make of Paulo Costa as a fighter? I know that when we think about, his, CV in comparison to yours, I feel like you've fought the best of the best in the division. He has fought some of those same heavy hitters, but how does he stack up?
He's a very well-rounded fighter. He's he's big, he's athletic, he's strong, he's a power puncher. He's in the top 10 for a reason, and he's been in that conversation for a long time. So I'm definitely not going in there underestimating him in that regard. But I know what I can offer. I know what I can do. And, yeah, I'm going in there just to take his head off.
If there's one thing that you've gone into this camp wanting to work on the most, to be the best Rob that you've put out to date, what has that been this camp?
To hurt him. That's what I've been focusing on the entire camp. Just I've got 15 minutes to switch him off, and that's all I'm aiming to do.
How much, research, obviously you watch the tapes to death, but, what are the things that you pick up on a fighter like Paulo Costa in terms of where you can capitalise?
I think just holistically how he likes to approach his fights. He's a bully fighter. He likes to bully his opponents. He likes to move forward into them. And I think if you take that away from him, he doesn't look anywhere near as good.
And how much does your experience come into play? You've been in the UFC since 2012. That's 12 years this year. That's a long time, and a lot of experience under your belt, especially on these, big stages.
Definitely. Experience counts for everything in this sport. It's it's a secret recipe for a lot of these long-term fighters. I have been in the game for a long time, so I have a lot of experience under my belt, and I want to put it to good use on Saturday.
And how, over those 12 years, how have you seen this middleweight division kind of evolve? Because it's very different, obviously, to when you started, but even since you were champion, it's changed so much again.
It has. Over the 12 years, I've seen errors rise and fall. It's the division right now is moving very fluidly. It's rife with opportunity. There's a lot of opening and closing doors, and it's a really good time to be a middleweight.
Does a win here put you back in title talks?
A win opens up doors, and that's all I'm looking at it like.
Fair enough. Yeah. Every time I bring these questions up with you, I get answers like that. I always try my luck though. Look, also on this card, Justin Taffa, in the heavyweights, and obviously Alexander Volkanovski, 3 Anzacs on this card. How much does that help, inspire you and give you that little bit of taste of home away from home?
Yeah, it adds that little bit of that little slice of home, over here in California. So, and I'm sure on the night, I think we're all going to be putting in locker rooms or see each other in locker rooms. So I'm sure it'll just be that little comfort level, that extra, I don't know what you call it. Just, it'll be good. It'll be good.
I also wanted to mention that you got over to California and went to Beneil Dariush's gym to help prepare. So how was that experience?
No, it was great. It was great. My coaches were asking around with his friends, Fabricio, and one thing led to another. We were put in touch with Beneil, and honestly, he couldn't have been more accommodating. He's been great. When we got there, he had mats ready for us and everything like that. And then he even offered himself to work as a training partner. So I've been working with him the last week, just moving around. Obviously, there's not too much work to be done at this stage in the game, but it was, he was more than accommodating for us to just move around and everything. He's been a great support and greatly appreciate it.
He seems like a really nice guy too, like a genuinely nice guy.
Top bloke.
Yeah.
Honestly, really good guy.
Well, then the perfect gym for you then, Rob. Look, we wish you all the very best of luck this weekend. We'll be watching as always, and all the very best.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Alex Volkanovski, he's the best.
I'm the king of this division. Featherweights, you better watch out.
Volkanovski beat basically everybody. Without a doubt, the most accomplished featherweight champion of all time.
Kill the game, it's murder on my mind. You ain't even on my level. I ain't even got the time. I'm here to fight. But now he's fighting against Ilia Topuria.
Topuria is a nightmare.
Ilia Topuria is an undefeated force who could be destined for greatness.
I'm going to be a legend.
Put my fist through your face. Give me space. I'm undefeated, like the greats.
I want to take that UFC belt. His war's gonna end and mine's gonna start.
Ilia been running his mouth. If he wants to keep going, I'll show him what's up and I'll squash him too.
Step up to be great or get out the way.
Alexander Volkanovski!
He looks to add to the legacy as the greatest featherweight of all time. Get out the way.
Ilia Topuria! That dude is a straight up assassin.
I'm gonna knock him out in the first round.
Get out my way.
Mixed martial arts at its finest.
I'm so pumped for this fight.
Robert Whittaker, former